And what do you think it is going to stir within the minds and hearts of the American people? Because a core fundamental American value is this idea of due process. So, what precedent do you think that this is setting?
It's just horrible. I mean, you couldn't describe anything more evil than out of convenience and by avoiding the law, by ignoring the law. But this is a characteristic that we've seen develop over the course of the last numerous months since January 20th of 2025. If there's a court order that's somehow generated the disdain of the administration, they simply ignore it or they try to find a way around it. There's no moral code that reflects the kind of character and values that the American people believe that they infused into the Constitution and that they live with on a daily basis. So this is an outrage of some significant magnitude. And at the end of the day, the only way that we can bring it to a conclusion and do the right thing for the right reasons is to make proper inquiry. You've got two armed services committees, one in the House, one in the Senate, who have simply taken, and in summary fashion, the gibberish that has been offered them by those who are involved in presenting to them in the administration. So Congress has to stand up too. They've got to have the courage to do the right thing here. Make an inquiry. You're bound to provide oversight. In addition to that, you're the only body, the only branch that can declare war, yet you're letting the executive here run about willy-nilly and declare whatever it is they want this to be without it being established by fact or circumstances. At the end of the day, Brittany, this is vigilante justice. It's people running around employing the mechanisms of the state in a way that's arbitrary and capricious, and at the end of the day, it soils our souls and the spirit of the American people.
You raised these questions here. You also raised them in your op-ed, whether any of these strikes were legal and whether the deaths of all of these people who were on the boat, if they were justified. I mean, if we find out the answer is no, these strikes weren't legal, or no, these deaths weren't justified, does that constitute a war crime?
Well, there are two different areas of jurisdiction. One is international law. And unquestionably, with the shipwreck, there's no doubt that that is a prosecutable offense because they had no weapons. They were not in an aggressive position. They were not on offense. They were not attacking the United States of America. And in addition to that, there's a specific law that says you cannot take the lives of people in a situation like that. There's simply a matter of self-defense that has to be observed. And that's dictated very plainly in the law. The remainder of these incidents, if you think about it, why are munitions of this caliber and this destructive capability needed and necessary to interdict boats and vessels that are sailing with allegedly a cargo of dangerous drugs? The fact is, or at least one explanation is, by simply vaporizing the people, the vessels, and the drugs, you eliminate the problem. And you don't know these people, so what's the difference? And at the end of the day, that's really the question. At one point in time, are the members of Congress going to find the courage to do the right thing and to make the proper inquiries and establish to us, the people, the ultimate sovereign of this country, the people with all of the power, establish to us that this was done because it was needed and necessary and unavoidable? And that's really the question that's at hand. And simply labeling these things by the chairman of the House committee saying, I've heard everything I need to hear. Well, you know what? There's a lot more that the American people want to hear, Congressman, and a lot more that the people of America, bound by moral values and to one another by character and belief in the decency of this country, want to understand about this. So get on with it. The longer they drag this out and the longer they try to preclude the American people from knowing what has been going on with these boats and these killings, these extrajudicial killings of people that may be civilians, the worse it's going to get for the country.